Hey guys, I'm Catherine, and in this video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about string manipulation. And so here we go, we're going to Sublime Text, because that's where we always go. And so why do we need to know about strings? Why do we even care about them? Well, every object in Java has a toString method, and it may return, something useful, something about the object, or it could be a garbage address that we don't really know and doesn't help us at all. So we should probably know how to use strings. And so what is a string? Well, if we make a class here, and we can actually make this a little bit bigger so we can all see it, and yeah, so we have this class. We're just going to call it Hello World, because that's what we call every class in Java, and we can save this as a Hello World. I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to call it Hello World.java. There it is, it's a class, and then we need to have a public main, and then all of that is good. We have this main method. It's what you have to do anything in Java. It's really annoying, but yeah. And so why do we care about strings? Well, every object, has the toString method, and so we have toString for every object. And what is a string? Well, in our main method here, we can actually write a string, and so we could go string s equals hello world. There we go. That's a string. What's another string? Well, you can do string t equals new string hello world. That's another way you can write a string. And so the first way we wrote it is called a literal, because we're literally writing out the string. And then the other way we did it was with the new operator. And so we actually said new, create an instance with this value string, or with the value hello world. And so what else do we need to know about strings? Well, they're a reference data type, and so that means that the data isn't stored directly. You have a pointer to where the string is in memory, and we'll talk more about that later, but just know it's referenced. And it's also immutable, meaning that nothing can change it. All you can do is you can say like, hey, this is a string hello world. If I want to make this hello worlds like with an S, I'll have to create an entire new string. I won't be able to append it onto this or change, world to world or whatever. It has to be a completely new string. They're immutable. You can't add or remove from them. And so what is the real difference here between our string s with the literal and our new operator? Well, when we create a string with new, it's created in the heap. And so this is created in the heap, but it's not put into the string pool. While a string that's a literal is put into the string pool, which is another part of the heap, and it's part of what we call the perm heap. This may not seem important now, and it probably isn't, but this is an important difference to know because it's a common question on interviews. So what's this thing about perm heap? Well, it's actually called perm space, and it basically keeps information for our loaded classes and has inside of it the string pool, which can be used for optimizing string equality testing. And so again, this is kind of bigger scope, but just know they're different, and if you have too many of these string literals, you'll get like an out-of-memory perm gen space, there's not enough space inside of this perm space, inside of the string pool, where this is just a general object inside of the heap. So now that we know how to initialize strings and we know kind of what they are, how we make them, and stuff like that, we can actually do more stuff with making strings. And so how do we make a string? Well, you can do it clearly with this, but what if I wanted to concatenate things? What if I wanted to say string h equals hello, and then space, and then semicolon, and then I want to go string w equals world. There we go. What if I wanted to concatenate these strings? Well, so we'll go concatenate. Well, you just concatenate them. Okay, how do you do that? Well, you'd go h.concatenate, there you go, and then w, semicolon, and then we can actually print this out to the console like this, and then we can do Command B for it to build, and it'll build, and it'll tell us we have some errors. And we had an error because it's not .concatenate, it's just .concat. And so there we go, we just built it, and then we'll go to our terminal, which you can also get by using Spotlight up here, terminal, there it is. And I'm gonna CD into my desktop so I'm where my hello world is, and I'm gonna go Java hello world because that's the name of the class, and there it prints out hello world, which is the two things concatenated. Another more common way you can do concatenation is if you do system.out.println, and we can just do h plus w. And if we wanted to add the s, we could go plus s. There we go, and we can build it and then run it again here. Java hello world. Now we have hello world, hello worlds. So this is another more common way you're going to do it inside of wherever you want to, because this has a lot of things where here I can just do the plus sign and it's more English oriented, I guess you could say. It's easier to read, it's more readable. Another thing that is important to know about strings and making a string is formatting strings. And so this is another way you can kind of make a string and do things. And I'm going to section this off here so that it's a pretty outline for you to look at later. Yeah, we'll keep that space. Okay. And so formatting strings. And so this is another way, again, of initializing a string. And so we'll do string d equals, and we're going to call a static method from the string class. And how we're going to do this is string dot format. There we go. And then we're going to put the string we want to format inside of these parentheses. And so we'll go Steve has, and then we'll go %d cats. And so we want to say he has 5 cats. And so we have this little comma here, and then we replace the d with the 5 at runtime. So now if I system.out.println d and we build, and then we can actually just do up here, and then hit enter, and it'll run the thing, and it says Steve has 5 cats. Now, not everything is %d that I want to add. You should know %d goes with integer, so since 5 is an integer, these two things matched up, and order does matter. So if I had 2 numbers here, the 5 would go with the first one, and then we would want a 6 to go with the second one, or whatever it is. And so if we go and run that now, and that's, here we go, Steve has 5, 6 cats. That doesn't make sense, and so we're going to take that away and then take this d away. And so what else can we put into a string? Well, we can also put other strings, and we can go %s, and that would be a string. And so instead of doing the plus, this is another way you can do it. And then you also have %f, and that is for floats. And there are other ones you could know, but these are, I guess, the ones that I use the most and I find the most useful. And another way, I know, we have lots of ways to make strings. Another way you can make a string is through substringing things. And so I have this string d, but I only want the Steve part. And I want to say like, hello, Steve. So we could go system.out.println, and we could say d, well first we would say hello because we want to have the hello, so we'll do h plus, and then to get the Steve out of here we could do d.substring, and then we can put the starting index, which here would be 0, and then the ending index, so we'll have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's not going to include this last one, so we'll try 5. There we go, so we have this thing, we'll see if it's printed out, we'll build it, see if everything's right, and nothing is, as it all is. And so it says method substring is int, and so it's mad because I didn't put the s there. Typos, yes, okay. And then we'll go here, and now it says hello Steve, and so we took the first 5 characters and we put it here, and it was non-inclusive, and so this started at 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we didn't include the space that was at 5. You could also do this and just say 5, and it will take everything that's after 5, and so it'll have the space and stuff. So if we command B this, and then go up here, it says hello has 5 cats, and it had the space because here the first integer that you put in is inclusive, and so it's going to include the thing that was at slot 5 in the string. And a string is just an array of characters, and so it's indexed similarly, and we'll talk more about that later. So now that we've kind of talked about how to make strings, we can talk about some common string instance methods that you're probably going to need to know just to call offhand and understand and be able to use in your interviews, because they're going to be these broad questions and you're going to have to break them down into smaller pieces and be like, okay, what method do I know in the string library that matches up with this type of thing that I want to do? And so some popular ones are length. And so how do we get the length of the string? Well, we can go a string hi there, and we could have it equal hi there. And so to get the length of hi there, we can go system.out.println. And I'm printing this to the console just to show you it's actually doing something. And we'll have our variable name hi there, and we'll do dot, and we'll go length. It's pretty simple, pretty, basic. Whoop. And then build. And then we'll run it just by going up 1, and it's 8. And so why is it 8? There are 2 words here, but it gave us 8. Well, there's 8 characters in the string, and that is what we consider the length of the string. So we had hi, which is 1, 2, and then 3, the space counts. 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the last E is 8. And so it has 8 characters, therefore we return 8. Another method that is useful is charAt, which you can give it an index and then it'll give you like the character that's at that specific index. And so if we go, system.out.println, and we could go hi there is our variable name and do charAt. And then for this charAt, we could get 0, 1, 2, 3. So we could get this one, which is the T. So we could go print out the 3rd index. And we can do a semicolon there, save it, build it, and then go up. T is the thing that was printed out because that is what is at index 3 because we have 0, this starts off at 0, blah, 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 Even though these are indexed from 0 to 7, there are 8 slots, which is again why this returns 8. So there we go. Now we can get characters at specific indices. Another way that's kind of like the reverse of this is index of. And so I give you a character and then you give me the index of that character. So if we, again, system.println, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we go hi there and say we want to get the index of E. And so we'll go index of and we'll say the character E. And notice I put it in single quotes because it is a character, not a string. And you can do this with strings, but again, that's later. And so if we go build, notice there are 2 things that this can return. It could return the first E, which would be at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could return the thing that's at the 5th index or the 7th. What will it return? Well, let's run it. Because there's 2 instances here and it says index of. Is it going to return like an array or something? We'll see. So it returns 5, and what this method really does is it returns the first occurrence of the character. And so here the first occurrence of E was at the 5th slot, and so that's why it returned 5 here. And we can probably make this a little bit bigger so we can actually see what's going on in our terminal. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Say you wanted to get the last E though. You want to check if the last E is a thing. And so system.out.println, you could go hi there, .index of, and instead of just putting the E, you could also put an index. And so we could say E, and we're going to start at 6. So it's past this character. And so if we do that and build, and then go up, it returns 7, which is different from the first index. And so that's something to keep in mind. Another way you could do this is if you didn't want to remember, okay, it's 7, or you didn't want to know specific numbers and hard code that, you could do hi there dot last index of, and then just put the character in, and this will return 7 as well. If we build this, and yay, no errors, we get 7 as well. So those are 3 different ways you could do that. So far we've done just a little review so far, just so we kind of understand everything. We know how to make strings. You could do it 2 ways with the new operator or literals. You can concatenate strings, you can format strings. These are another ways of making strings. You can substring them. And then some methods we can do on them are length, charAt, and then the opposite of that, index of. Just to kind of remember everything and that we're actually doing things and we care about things. And there is also a variation of this index of method that you could say like, okay, what is the index of this substring? And so say you had E, like what's the index of that? And it would return the first index of that substring inside of the string, if that makes sense. Okay, if you have questions about that, I can put stuff down below. Yeah, and so another instance method we could use, and when we say instance method, we mean we actually have to create a hi there string. We can't just go string dot do things, you have to actually make an instance. You actually have to make a string to use these methods, because otherwise, like, what is it getting the length of? What is it getting the charAt of? What is it getting the index of? Like, you don't know. You have to actually create a string to use it. Whereas up here, it was a class method, and so we did string dot because we hadn't created the string yet. We don't need an actual string that we're working with to use these methods. We could just go string dot format, and that's what makes that a class method, and then this stuff down here, instance methods. This is kind of just good to know overall difference between class and instance. Yeah, and so another method we can do is to uppercase. And so this method, it just makes the thing uppercase, pretty simple. So we'll go println, and we're just going to use our hi there example. And remember, this is what we defined it as. And so it should return all of these letters uppercase. And of course, we actually have to call the method to uppercase, build it, and then we can run it here in the terminal. And we have some errors. because I probably did something wrong and I forgot the parentheses. So, you know, I never want to purchase Sublime. Okay, let's build it again, make sure there's no errors. Awesome. And then we'll go up. Here we are. Hi there, hi there. Now, something interesting to note is hi there the actual string changed? So what is happening here? Like when this returns, does it mutate hi there to have all uppercase letters, or is this a method just returning an uppercase string? So if I do system.out.println and I go hi there, is this hi there thing going to be all uppercase, or is it going to be, you know, the original hi there that we had before? Is this method mutable, or is it creating a new object and returning it? Well, we shall see if I can do things correctly here. Okay, so it built, awesome, and then we'll go here, we'll go up. It said hi there because that's what we did in our last method, and then hi there here was not uppercase because this returns, why is this thing here? Go away. And so notice, like, this was not uppercase, and that's because strings are not mutable. They are immutable. They cannot be changed at all. What you can do is you could say, like, hi there equals hello. And this is a completely new string that we're setting the reference, we're like setting the value of hi there to be hello now, but we're not mutating the original hi there string. So if we run this code again, we can build and then run here. It says hello and hi there, but it's the same line of code. Well, why did that change and this didn't? Well, this hi there is a function and it returned, like, it's had this hi there string and then it uppercased everything in creating a new string and then returned that new string. It never mutates the original hi there string. But here we're setting the variable equal to something else. So we're completely disregarding the string. So if I have this, like, comments, yay. If we have this pointer hi there, we'll just call it a pointer right now, and it's pointing to hi there. And then when we run this method, so if we, there we go. Okay, so I wrote some things. Here, like, okay, so before our hi there, you know, variable was pointing to this string, but now when we do hi there equals hello, we're changing this thing to be pointing to something else. We're saying make the value of this pointer go to this thing, and this is like some address and memory. And here, hi there is now left out in space and is waiting to be collected by the garbage collector. We're not changing hi there, we're just saying, hey, point to something else. I'm going to put, you know, a different value here, and we're just going to get rid of the old value. We're not ever changing the value itself, if that makes sense. This is a big concept. My day 20 video, yes, maybe, I don't know, I'll put the link down below. If you're interested in pointers and stuff, you should check that out. And this is going to be the same for uppercase, and so we'll go to, or lowercase, I mean, and so to lowercase, and so there we are. We'll go system.out.println, and we'll do this again, hi there dot to lowercase, and then we will copy this and save it, and we'll go up, and we forgot to build it, and that's because we had errors, and it's because I always forget these parentheses. And so if we go down, and this is already in lowercase because we set it back to hi there, so we are just going to comment that out. And so now it's in the multiple cases that it was up here. And so we finished that, and now we have hi there in lowercase letters, and we did it twice, which I don't know why we did that, but we did it twice. There it is. And so yeah, the last method that we are going to try out and do is going to be, we're actually, yeah, we'll put that in the comments. And that comment makes sense. Okay, the last method that we're going to do today is called replace. And so replace does what you think it does. It takes a character and changes it to something else. And so if we go system.out.println and we have hi there and we dot replace, we want to change the E's to Z's. Okay, we did this thing, and we are going to print out the product, the result of this function. And so let's do that. Let's build and then go up Hi there's. There you go. And notice this is still uppercase because that's what we had in our original hi there thing, but all we did was replace the E and with the Z's. And this is not going to, like everything else, it's not going to change the original string because it does not mutate the string because the string is immutable. It's returning a new string that it created based on the properties of the old string. So none of these instance methods are going to be mutables because are not going to be mutable because the string itself is a data type that is immutable in Java. This is super important to realize and note. And yeah, and so just to prove it again to you, we'll print out the original hi there, which is not changed. Da-da-da-da. Here we go. And if we build this, and we gotta build this before we can do the things. And there we go. Now we have hi there's and then hi there. We could also save this replace variable, and so say we actually want the string with the stuff that's replaced, then we could go hi there replaced is a string that has this value, and then we could print out this value. This is another thing we could do if we ever wanted to save the result from a string function instead of just, printing it out to the console. And so if we build this here, it'll be mad because I forgot a semicolon. Pretty chill, and then there we go. And now we have, nothing changed in the console because all we did was create a variable that's going to store the output of this algorithm, but again, the actual hi there is never changed. And so these were things we learned and we did things. How can we use them in a programming question? Well, consider the question where it's how to reverse a string in Java. So how would you do this? There's no library method that we have introduced yet where you can actually reverse strings. And this is actually a common interview question if you, for like their very first round of interviews, like if you, it'll be a basic string, like question they throw out there to make sure you're familiar with strings and how they work and how you use their methods and stuff like that. And so what we can do is there are a couple ways we can do this. Let's give it a reverse string to mess with, and we'll say this reverse string is hello. Just like everything else that we've been doing. And there are basically 3 different ways we can do this. One is with a library method, and we'll talk about that. And then the second way we can do it is iteratively, and so we can go iterative, a function. This would be like a for loop, a while loop. And then a third way we can do it is with recursion. And we'll talk about that as well. The first way is going to be with a library method. In this library method, is going to be not a string, but a string builder. And so if we go string builder, and we'll talk about what that is in a second, and we'll go SB equals new string builder with the value of reverse, and then itself reversed, and then we print this out to the console, SB. Okay. So a string builder is just like a string, but it's mutable, so we can reverse it. Hence why it has the reverse method. And so here we create a new string builder with the value reverse, and then we reverse it with the reverse function. That is given to string builders, but not to strings. And then when we print it out here, we could do sb.toString, but when we print something out, the toString method is already called. And so if we run this right now, it should give us the correct thing. And so if we go up, ole, there you go, ole. That is a, thing. And notice our reverse string will actually not be changed because we created a completely new object and passed a reverse as a argument to the parameter of the constructor. And so it's not going to be changed because strings, again, are immutable. The only thing that was changed was the string builder because string builders are mutable. And so another way we can do this is with a for loop. So we'll go for int I, and we'll say I again. Here we go with our other methods. We'll go hello.length. And what do we want to do with this thing? We want to say while it is greater than 0, we want to do things, and so we are going to decrement it along each step. And so if you're unfamiliar with the for loop, basically it means like, hey, this is where I want my I variable to start off as. I want to continue doing the body of this function while I is greater than 0, and each time we run through a loop of this function, then we want to subtract from I, and we want to subtract by 1. You can change it, if you want to, but for this function, that is what we're doing. First, we're going to create a string variable that's going to be string re, and it's just going to equal the empty string. And then in here, we're going to go re equals re plus reverse, which is our original function up here, or original, string, and we'll go reverse dot char at I. And let's actually change the name of this. For this one, we won't use reverse, we'll use a string original equals hello. So it's still the same thing, we're just going to call it something different. So what we're doing in this is we have this initialized string re, and for each iteration of this, we're adding the in char onto the end. And since this starts at hello.length, we're going to add, the empty string plus O. And then on the second round, we'll have O in the string, and then we'll plus L. And then we'll go here, we'll go again, and then we'll have OL. And then we'll plus L. And as you can see, you go down the line, and then you end up having ole. You're good to go. The last way you can do this is with recursion. And so how do you do this with recursion? Well, we have to make a recursive method. So we're going to go up here, and we're just going to create a super chill static method, public static. And this will return a string, and it's going to be the reverse of the string we give it. So we're going to call this reverse string. And that's a method, and the parameters are going to be just a string s. And this is going to be called the original string. And one thing I didn't point out below is that this type of thing, it's never changing re. All it is doing what we did before with like the hello and the hi there. It's setting the value of re equal to something else. And so here we're actually creating a new string every single time we go through this for loop, which could be bad eventually, but for our for loop, this is only 5 characters, so it's going to be okay. But eventually it could use up so much memory that your computer crashes, which is bad. And it's because strings are not mutable. And so every time I do the concatenation or the setting equals or something like that, and I want to change my string, I'm creating a new object every time, which is pretty bad. I challenge you to use the string builder to actually, fix this memory problem and see if you can make it so it doesn't make a new string every single round. And so that's up to you. I'll let you do that. And so as for our recursive method, we are going to do this super quick. We're going to go if the original dot length is less than 2, meaning is less than 2, meaning it's 1 character or less, then we're going to return the original string. Otherwise, and we can just put it down here, otherwise we're going to return the reverse string with the original dot substring. And this is going to create a whole new string because that's what substring does. It creates a new string. And it's going to have everything from the first character on. So because strings are indexed from 0 and then tell a certain number, we're starting at the second character, which is at index 1. And we're going to add on original.charAt 0. And so this is really weird, really different. If we have, I'm going to just kind of show you a run through of this. If we have our string hello passed, it's going to be greater than 2, and so we'll go down here. And we'll take the original substring, which would be lo, because it'd be everything but the h, and we'll add on our h at the end, which is the char at 0. Then we'll do this again. We'll pass our lo into this reverse string function. This is recursion. And when we do this, we'll end up getting, this is not less than 2. And so we'll go down here and we'll have to get the reverse string of this value. And that will be, the same type of thing. And so when we call this method, this lo is going to return into LLO. And then we'll have plus e and then plus h. And so this whole thing is the same thing as this thing. This is this really, really big concept to understand. And then in here, we'll go, we'll try to get the reverse string of this, which again, 3 is not less than 2. And so we'll have LO and then plus L, because that's what this original char at, it's of this thing. The char at 0 is L, and so we'll have that, and then plus E, and then plus H. And you see how this all pans out. And then at the very end, we see that, this thing equals all of this, and we return up, and then eventually we return the string LO. And so let's call all of these things. So we have this thing, well, system.out.println re, which is the string that we've been kind of modifying, but not really modifying because we're setting the address that is re equal to something else. So we're not actually changing the data structure of the string, but we're setting the pointer to something else. And then in recursion, we will just call our recursive method, which we called reverse string. And we'll go reverse string. and we'll give it the original string because we never changed that. And so we'll also print this out. And so we should get 3 instances of LO. So if we build this, we're going to have some problems because I forgot some semicolons up here. And then we'll go build, and we have another error because I didn't say, I said hello up here instead of like the actual string name. And so, or I didn't do it down here, hello.length, we called it original.length, which is why it's not going to get that. And then we'll go B building, there we go, and then we will run it by going to the terminal up, and we should get 3 things. And we have an exception because here we need to say -1 so it doesn't go out of bounds, because that's what it's doing right now. And then we'll build this again because errors always happen. And then we will go up. And then we have another big error. This is welcome to programming, guys. And so here we have 2 errors. One is with our iterative method because we forgot the H, and then the other is with our recursive method. And so to fix this, we probably forgot the H because we stopped the loop too soon. And so checking our condition, we should probably make this equals, and so we can get the charAt, you know, from the length -1 all the way up to 0 or back to, you know what I mean. And so that should fix that problem. And I did Control N instead of Control V, and now we do the correct thing, and so we can go back down all of this, and we can do that, and we can go up, run it again. We'll still have the recursive problem because we didn't change that method at all. And then if we scroll up, and there we go, now we have ole, like we're supposed to. Great, and so now we can look at our recursive method. And so if we go up here, we can figure out what's going on. And so one thing that we did is we accidentally made the recursive call have all of this stuff. And so basically it was doing a loop where instead of like separating the LO and the +H, like this entire thing was being called in the recursive call versus just this. And so now that that's fixed, the recursive case can finally get to the base case, which is here, where the length is less than 2. But like if you imagine if this is what's being called and this is always what's going to be called, you're going to get a Stack Overflow error because you're going to be in this never-ending loop and constantly building things because that's what these methods do. And so that's going to, you know, take up memory. Whereas if it was just a regular for loop that like didn't do anything, it would just be a wild true and the program would never end. Noticing the difference between that is like crazy important. So now that we've fixed the thing that used to do this into this, because we only want the recursive call for this portion, we will run it again and we'll do Command B, and this will build, and then we'll go back to our terminal window, scroll all the way down, go up, hit enter, and now we have ole, ole, ole. So you might be thinking, why do we even care about these methods? Why do we need them? You know, you can just look up, you know, your length or your charAt or your stuff. Like, why do I need to memorize all of these instance methods, like the concatenate, the formatting, you know, well, formatting isn't instance, but you know what I mean, like the index of the charAt. Why do I need to know all of these? And well, you need to know it for technical interviews, and this is why everyone hates them, is you have to know all of these weird methods, and that's how you know, get the job. And that's ridiculous because when you are actually programming, you're going to have the resources to go and look up what you need. But, you know, that's why no one likes doing interviews for technology. And so welcome to the real world. And now that you have this doc thing, you know, that we made, you can come back and remember how to do things, which is great. Next, we will be going more into string methods. There are a couple methods I didn't tell you about that are super important, and we'll be doing more of these programming examples with, you know, how do I reverse a string? I'll have more questions for you, and so we can tackle those together. And so I will see you next Friday. Bye-bye.